In this video, we're going to take a look at the Logitech MX Keys S Performance Combo from an Apple user's perspective. This is a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse kit designed to take your productivity to the next level. In this video, we're going to talk about all the features it offers and how it integrates with Mac OS, iPad OS, and some of my thoughts as an Apple user. This set includes the MX Master 3S mouse, MX Keys S, and MX Palm Rest, all in the graphite color. The graphite looks really nice next to Apple's space gray computers, iPads, and accessories. The kit overall has a really great sleek look, although I will say it's not quite as sleek and minimal as an Apple keyboard and mouse would be. I've been using the Apple Magic Keyboard and Mouse for as long as I can remember, and I've never had any issues with them or any reason to switch or try a different set until now. Probably the biggest frustration with the Apple set is that the charging cable for the Magic Mouse is underneath the mouse, so you can't use the mouse if you're charging it. I also really appreciate that Logitech uses USB-C to charge both of these devices, and you're able to charge the keyboard or the mouse while using it. The ports are both accessible from the back side. Logitech says that the keyboard will last up to 10 days using the backlight, or 5 months if you don't use the backlight. And it says the mouse will last up to 70 days on a single charge. Everything is packed really nicely in the box. You get the MX Master 3S mouse, the MX Keys S, and the MX Palm Rest. Logitech also includes a USB-C to USB-A charging cable and a USB-A bolt receiver so that you can use this set with a computer that doesn't have Bluetooth. It's really nice of them to include this as an option for legacy devices, but I'm also not really sure where to keep it when it's not being used because neither the keyboard or the mouse have a slot to store this in it. To set up Bluetooth, just turn the keyboard or mouse on and then press the device pairing button. On the keyboard, press and hold one of the 3 device pairing buttons until it flashes and goes into Bluetooth pairing mode. On the mouse, press the button until you get to the desired slot to pair with, and then hold the button and it will go into pairing mode. Once you put either device into pairing mode, get on your computer, your iPad, your phone, go to your Bluetooth settings, and the device should pop up on new devices. And then just follow the on-screen steps to set them up and connect. Once you get the devices paired, if you're using a computer, you'll want to download the Logi Options Plus app because this allows you to customize different buttons, scroll wheels, and other settings like scroll speed and movement speed and sensitivity on both the keyboard and the mouse. Another really nice thing about the Logi Options Plus app is it allows you to set up different shortcuts depending on the app that's open. This is cool because if you're using a video editing app or a word processing app or Photoshop, then you'll have different functions that are accessible with the function keys on your computer, gestures with the mouse, or the side buttons on the mouse. Let's take a little bit of time to go into detail about each of the devices. So the mouse is the main reason that I bought this set because I wanted something to be a little bit more ergonomic to use than my Apple Magic Mouse. I've been having a little bit of wrist pain and I've wanted to try a different setup. I find that the MX3S is comfortable and it's very responsive. I like the feel of clicking the different buttons and it's just got a very tactile experience overall. Now, I come from using the Apple Magic Mouse for a long time, and I got really used to all the different gestures you could use and just swiping on the mouse to scroll and swipe from one app to the other. So using the scroll wheels on both the side and the top of this is a little bit different for me, but I found that after about a day of using it, I'm already getting really used to this new mouse. I also like that Logitech has a button that allows you to change the scroll wheel from being a clicky feeling to a smooth rolling feeling. So this is really nice depending on what application or program that you're using. You might want the clicky, you might want the roll. I'm also getting used to the horizontal scrolling knob, especially for editing in a timeline like Final Cut Pro. This makes it really easy to get across the app quickly. I also really like the 2 buttons that are below the horizontal scroll on the side of the mouse. I find that these are really useful for undo or redo or other different shortcuts and apps that you find yourself using a lot. You can also program the scroll wheel on the top to have the click do a function as well. I find this is really useful for zooming in and out of different applications like Final Cut Pro, and then I use the button below it as another zoom button. The mouse also has a secret button that your thumb sets on that allows you to use gestures. So you press that button and then you move the mouse in a different direction to activate different functions like switching between desktops, activating mission control, or again, whatever you want to program it to. This takes a little bit of getting used to coming from the Magic Trackpad and the Magic Mouse, but it's a really cool feature once you mess with it a little bit. One more thing I really appreciate about this mouse is that it works really well without a mouse pad, which just comes in handy because it looks a lot cleaner not having a mouse pad on your desk, and you don't have to worry about running out of space to work with. One thing I don't like about this mouse is it's a little bit bigger, so if you're traveling with it a lot, it's going to take up more space in your computer bag. Next, let's talk about the keyboard. This includes the MX Keys S keyboard, which does work for both Windows and Mac, but there's a couple weird Mac quirks with it that I wasn't expecting, but I'm okay with. The keyboard's a full-size keyboard, which is something I haven't had in a long time. The keys all feel good and comfortable, and the spacing feels totally fine, which is great because I'm so used to the Apple Magic Keyboard and the laptop keyboards that Apple has on the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. So I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to like the way the keys felt or the locations, but overall I'm really pleased with it. I also really like the travel of the keys on the keyboard, and it's nice and quiet. Some of the shortcuts on the function keys are different than what I'm used to on Apple's keyboards, but you can always use the Logi Options Plus app to reprogram it to do whatever the Apple keyboards do that you want to do. You also get some useful buttons like a lock button in the top right, a screenshot button, the calculator, and a look up now button. I also really appreciate the backlighting on the wireless keyboard. It's both practical and backlighting always looks good. I will say there's a few things about the keyboard that throw me off a little bit, like the delete and backspace buttons are separate. And on an Apple keyboard, you can hold a button down and you make one key either delete or go backspace. And on this keyboard, you have to use both of them separately, which is a little bit confusing to use if you're used to the Apple keyboards. I also wish this keyboard had a function button on the bottom left like the Apple keyboards do, because a lot of times I'll just shut the top row of keys off on my computer unless I'm holding down Shift, Command, or Function to activate those features. These are a few small complaints, and I think I'll get used to them over time. Unfortunately, it's a sacrifice that is made by having a keyboard that's both Mac and PC compatible. Next, let's talk about the palm rest. This is something I didn't really know I needed, but I honestly really appreciate it, and after having it, I want to get an even nicer one. Now this one is nice, and it's just a great little add-in that Logitech throws in. I think they cost about $17 by themselves, so it's a great value add-in. But it's not super cushioned. And there's no wrist rest that you can use with the mouse. So if you want to have a wrist rest with your mouse, you're never going to be able to find a matching set with this one. So that kind of bothers me a little bit because I'd love to have a matching palm rest for the keyboard and wrist rest for the mouse. Next, let's talk about iPad OS and using this with other devices. One of the standout features is the dedicated buttons for changing what device you're using both the keyboard and mouse for. This is excellent in multi-device setups where you quickly want to change between using this with an Apple TV, a computer, or an iPad. You can do it so fast with the buttons on the top of the keyboard. And on the mouse, you can just flip it over and press the button to change which device you're currently connected to. And it changes almost immediately. So this is a great feature. I found that both the keyboard and the mouse perform really well when using it with the iPad. And this was my first time ever trying a wireless mouse out with the iPad. And it's a really great experience. And the keyboard is just so fast and responsive with my iPad Pro, and it makes it a joy to type on and use that device. I love that it's such a seamless experience going from the computer to the iPad and back. One thing to note is there's no Logi Options app for the iPad, so you can't customize any of the buttons or gestures when you're using these with the iPad. Also, we need to talk price. The MX3S mouse costs $99 by itself, and the MX Keys S costs $110 by itself. And the palm rest retails for about $18 on its own. So altogether, that's about $230. This combo set retails for $200, so you do save about $30 versus buying everything separately. The only problem is if you don't like the keyboard or the mouse as much as you like the other, you're not going to be able to return just one part of this set. So only buy this set if you're sure you want to use both the keyboard and the mouse, and you just want the palm rest as an add-on bonus. Apple's Magic Mouse goes for about $80, and the Magic Keyboard with numeric pad and Touch ID goes for about $180. So I think when you compare this to that set, it's a great buy, although you do lose the Touch ID functionality. So to wrap it all up, I really like this set from Logitech. The mouse is great, the keyboard is great, they're both very ergonomic, comfortable to use, and they have great responsive Bluetooth capabilities. I also really like the travel of the keys on the keyboard, and both typing and clicking with the mouse are an acceptable, quiet volume. It's there just enough that you know you're using it, but not so much that you're going to really bother your coworkers or those who are around you. There are a few things about this set, like we talked about, that are a little strange if you're an Apple user. Getting used to the backspace and delete, the function keys being a little bit different, as well as not being able to use swiping on the top of the mouse like you can on a Magic Mouse. I think it's a worthwhile trade-off though when you consider the ergonomics and the added functionality that you get with this keyboard and mouse set versus using the stock Apple set. So overall, I have very minimal complaints complaints with this set, and I have no problem recommending it to someone who wants a great keyboard and mouse setup for their Apple computer. Thanks for watching this video. I have links to purchase this set in the description below. If you have any questions about this set, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have. Also, like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any upcoming content.